Alrighty, back again here today. As you can see, I got two pistols on the bench. You can see I have my Rock Island Armory BBR 3.10, as you can see right there. And I have my wife's carry gun. This is a Glock 30s. This is a Gen 3 style Glock, and this is the only option that they have for the 30s, surprisingly. But this, if you don't know, this is the slim slide Glock 30. So, so this is going to be kind of a comparison video between the two, because I feel that these are about the closest you can get to the subcompact 45 ACP carry gun-ish type of deal. So I'm going to go over some of the specs and then some thoughts about them. So real quick, these are both chambered in 45 ACP, and they both hold 10 rounds. Which I'll get this here. So 10 round magazine on the BBR is a metal mag, and it is a Metgar, as you can see. And you only get one with this. On the Glock 30s, it's your standard Glock mag. This is a 10 round magazine. And as you can see, there you go. You do get two with the Glock 30s, so that's something to note. MSRP on the Rock Island BBR is around $6.99. Picked this one up for about $5.70-ish, give or take. The Glock 30s is actually in that realm. You could probably find it for around the $5.20s, $5.50s, just depending where you shop. Sometimes even upwards towards the $600 mark. So price-wise, pretty comparable. All right, next thing is going to be the barrel lengths. So on the Glock, you get a 3.78 inch barrel, so pretty decent length. And on the BBR 3.1, you get obviously a 3.1 inch barrel. Now, the cool thing about the BBR 3.1 is the barrel is ported, as you can see here. The ports go through the slide as well. So that is cool. It does help with recoil mitigation and stuff like that, whereas the Glock is, standard Glock fanfare. Okay, weight-wise, on the Glock 30s, you have 22.75 ounces, so relatively light. On the BBR 3.1, you're coming in at 32 ounces, and that's both unloaded weights. Now, something that's really interesting is the overall lengths. On the Glock, you have 6.97 inches. On the BBR, you have 6.85 inches. So if you hold them up together, you'll notice, save for the beaver tail on the BBR, which is a standard extended beaver tail for 1911 style, they're pretty close in length. If you hold them right up, tip to tip, like I said, it's close enough to really call it about the same. Now, if you want to get into, what you're actually concealing, you have a shorter, heavier slide mass area, as you can see. But, that is just a little bit of a difference there. That's kind of interesting. So the overall width on the Glock, which tend to be chunky guns, actually is going to be thinner on this one. You have a overall width of 1.38 inches, and that is, right here at the little bump here on the grip on the frame. On the BBR, you get a really chunky 1.5 inch width. So it is something to note. But when you hold them up next to each other, it isn't crazy where you're getting your extra width here is these grip panels. They really stick out quite a bit. But you really kind of need that for what you got to grab onto, because you do have, you're not able to grab that pinky onto the frame, whereas on the Glock, you do. So that's kind of a cool point on the Glock. Overall height on the Glock 30s, it is 4.8 inches. On the BBR 3.1, it's 4.5. So again, like I said, really close. As you can see there, just a little bit lower profile on the BBR. And then really the last thing to compare is different finishes. The Rock Island 1911 here is a parkerized finish, and the Glock is obviously a polymer frame with a Tennifer coated slide. Okay, so we got all that out of the way. So who would carry these? Well, actually, I mean, my wife carries this in her purse when she does carry. She's had this for quite a few years now. She really likes the way it shoots, and I do too. You know, that slim slide really does make the 30s really desirable. Unfortunately, Glock doesn't push this. I don't know why they haven't came out with a Gen 4 or even a Gen 5 in this yet. The Gen 5 would be really desirable, I think, especially, you know, getting rid of these finger grooves here, and it would just really kind of bring it up to a more modern design. The BBR has a lot going for it. It feels nice in the hand, but you can only get 2 fingers on it, and it is thicker. So, I mean, that's really, this is probably the thickest pistol, besides the Desert Eagle, that I've really put my hands on. And it feels a little on the weird side just because it's so small, but with it being thick like that, it really does lend to sitting in your hand pretty well. Do I wish that this had a pinky extension, even not necessarily for capacity, but even just for like a little drop lip down, because this is a lot more comfortable to hold in the hand. So it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be really nice. But that's what's funny, is these are the same capacity, and I mean, save for some pretty jarring differences in the weight and the width. Oh, sorry, there, hit the camera. They're pretty comparable, surprisingly. Let's see here. The slide's a little thinner here on the BBR than the Glock, but not really anything crazy. So I don't know. I mean, I just really kind of wanted to make this video to kind of show the comparisons here. I'm going to be moving this one into being a carry piece. It's really cool so far. It's been really enjoyable to shoot. I have heard some issues here and there with them, so that'll be something for me to find out. And as I said, this is my wife's. But, I mean, really, in a straight up versus, these days and age, I think that you'd be hard pressed to not choose the 30s over the BBR 3.1. Mainly just ergonomic features, simpleness issues. It's a lot simpler to maintain. You know, parts compatibility with other Glock lines. Capacity obviously is the same, but you do get the extra grip there on your finger. Now, if we were going to get into the whole concept of this being a regular Glock 30 with the wider slide, you might get into a little bit more of an argument on, you know, the weight being closer, and actually this having some ergonomic features in terms of the slide. So, really, what it comes down to is, you know, if you're going to be carrying every day, obviously probably the 30s would be a better choice. If you really enjoy 1911s, you like the single action with the safety, grip safety and stuff like that, this BBR 3.10 might be a little bit better suited to you. I will say that the trigger in the BBR 3.10 is substantially better than the Glock. That's just kind of an innate feature on 1911s that you're gonna have. And, you know, the sights are relatively standard dovetailed. And actually what's cool is these are fully adjustable sights here on the BBR, which is kind of funny, being the subcompact size. And you have the standard Glocks on the Glock sights on the 30s. So I mean, that is another little feature there too. I mean, really, parts commonality here. The Rock Island is gonna share some, but it's not gonna share them all. I mean, obviously things are a different dimension. So, you know, you're gonna have some commonality, but some is gonna be a little harder to match to other 1911s. So if that's something that's important to you, then this might not be what you're looking for. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think they're both cool pieces here, but if I was only gonna have to pick one to carry every single day, it would probably be the 30s, just because of generally being lighter. And actually a longer barrel and stuff like that, a little bit thinner. But if you're a diehard 1911 fan, this thing is pretty cool. And with that porting, it really does kind of help mitigate the recoil. So they both have their, and sorry, it does have the better trigger. So really you gotta kind of pair them out here. I do think that if you were to put on a little pinky extension, if you could find one, or something that would work, that this would start edging into being a little bit more on the user-friendly side in terms of carrying. So, and I guess the last thing I should talk about is looks. I mean, they're both decent looking guns, but it's hard to say that this isn't a really cool looking gun. I'm really happy to have this in my collection. So, yeah, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Really, they're both cool guns. I think obviously the Glock 30s is going to probably win hands down. But you know, in a perfect world, I'd say get them both. But yeah, it's hard to beat that Glock. So, alrighty. Well, thanks for watching. And again, let me know what you guys think and see what you think. If I miss any plot points or something like that, let me know. So, all right. Thanks for watching.